Hello, 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 and welcome to Get It Off Your Chest, the Funny Side of Breast Cancer podcast. I am one of your lovely hosts today. My name is Estelle Marr, and we're in Titty Tower Studio. And I'm joined today with my lovely sidekick, as always,
Andrea Moulding.
Hello, Andrea. How are you today?
Good. I'm having a good day. How's your chest, Estelle? Because you're sounding a little bit sexy there.
A bit voice. Like Marge Simpson. Hello, honey. So what's been happening with you?
Well, I'm really rather thrilled. You know, I've had my breast reconstruction surgery.
No.
And you know, I don't like to mention it. Well, part of it with the DIEP flat reconstruction is that they take, you know, your rather ample fat from your stomach and create a new boob. But my stomach's been really, really swollen. I haven't really benefited from the having the tummy tuck. Yeah. But I did go into Primark today and try on a pair of trousers, and I've gone down a size. Yeah. So, you know, I'm becoming more gorgeous as the days go on. But you knew that anyway, didn't you, Steph?
Oh my God, you're going to be wearing a red swimming costume soon and start running down the beach, aren't you? If there was a beach in Loughborough.
Loughborough, yeah.
Oh no, that's amazing, because you have suffered terrible with all swelling and what have you, haven't you?
Oh, you know, I don't like to mention it, as you know. I'm very stoic. Apparently it takes about a year for your stomach to settle. And I've got a mesh where they did the operation. So one side of my stomach like really sticks out and the other side is completely flat. So it's a little bit bumpy, if you like. It's like a kind of like a coast, like the coast of Cornwall. But I'm hoping it'll become flat, like, you know, the plains of Suffolk and Norfolk. But how are you? How are you this fine week?
I went fine. I've got no news at all, no boob related news, which is quite unusual. My whole week was absolutely dominated by I've got a new book out. So yeah, that was my whole.
Have you, Estelle? I didn't know that.
I have, in case you didn't know. Yeah, so the book was out last week, and that literally just took up so much of my time. I haven't checked my boobs or anything. I could be riddled with more boob cancer because I haven't had time to check because I've been too busy trying to be an author.
Yeah, sweet. Number one bestseller. Yeah.
It's been a good week. It has. It really has.
Yeah.
Anyway, what have we got happening on this week's show?
Well, I'm incredibly excited to tell our listeners. Ladies and gentlemen, this week we have a man. That's right, you heard it here. We have a man.
Oh, man.
Breast cancer is not only a female affliction, it also affects men as well. And that's a really important message to get out. And this week, all the way from Florida, we have the lovely Jeff Weinstein. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to meet him.
Well, it looks like he's just arriving at the studio right now.
Hey, there he is. Hello, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. Welcome to the show.
Been so excited to see you. Have you got your Guinness to hand there, Jeff?
My wife bought me the wrong beer.
Divorcer?
Divorce.
She's gone.
Gone out of your life.
She's out of here. 30 years of marriage down the tube.
That's it.
Good evening.
So Jeff, we've been super excited to have you on the show because I don't know if you realise you're actually our first man on this show.
First time I've heard that.
So where are you based in Florida?
I am in the middle of nowhere. It's a place called Hastings, Florida, but it's right outside St. Augustine, which is the oldest city I think it's in the United States. Oldest city in the United States.
I like the way you're sat there in your pink top, celebrating Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Could you just tell us a little bit about your cancer?
Yeah, so, you know, even the way it was discovered was kind of funny. It was, I had a little nodule on my man breast, on my man boob, and it was there. It was just a little bump. And, of course, we live in Florida, and, you know, it's tropical climate here, but every once in a while it does get cold. It was December, and you know, my wife and I were in the bed one evening, and I was joking around, and I said my nipples were sticking out.
It's not that kind of show, Jeff.
Yeah. And is this rated G? I'm sorry. And I said they were sticking out, and I said all three of them, and she goes, "What do you mean all three?" You know, my wife is very serious when it comes to this stuff. And I said,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. She freaks out. And I said, my third nipple. And of course, that was the start of it. And that was in early December, late November, early December. And that was the whole start of it. Went to my family doctor, and they just thought it was some kind of like I hurt myself or something. And they told me to go and put a compress on it.
Really?
Long story short, I ended up going back. They took it out. They did a biopsy, and they discovered that it was indeed stage 2 breast cancer.
Well, it must have been a big shock being a man.
It was kind of interesting because, and I wouldn't say interesting, but my mother, who actually was going through chemo at the time, and she had her last chemo the day that I was diagnosed. She went through chemo like a champ. She was great. I was the one who it was horrible for me. Lost all my hair.
Never come back, did it?
My eyelashes never came back, Jeff. I've got lizard eyes, as my children like to call me. My eyelashes have never come back. And I've got,
you know what? I'm blind, so like I tell everybody, you all look like supermodels to me. I tell my wife that every day.
Well, I am a supermodel, Jeff, so that's just as well.
Yeah, we are supermodels.
Well, I believe you.
So, talking of your hair loss, Jeff,
Yes.
you've got a really funny story about when you lost your hair, a certain rash that developed.
Yeah, well, I mean, the funny thing is that when you're bald, which I am, but I have I'm a hairy dude. Everybody said, "Oh, Jeff, you don't have to worry about losing your hair because you're already bald." Ha ha ha! That's so funny. But they don't tell you that you're going to lose all your hair, including on your body and nether regions and things like that. So after, I think it was like the second of my chemo treatments, I started to chafe down there. So going to my oncologist, and I just told her, I said, "Listen, I'm having some issues down there, and what do I do?" And she said, "Jeff," she said, we're foster parents. And she said, "Jeff, you've been foster parents for several years. Pretty sure you understand, when you have a baby and they have diaper rash, what do?" And I said, "Message received." So I went to the store after my chemo treatment and picked up some diaper rash cream and walked in the door. And my wife asked me how the appointment went and what did the doctor say about your little problem. And I said, held up the bottle of diaper rash cream, and she said, "All right, go in the bedroom, lay down, and spread them." And
oh, she's going to put it on for you. Oh,
and I love my wife because she is a born, like, she was born to take care of people. And she was completely serious. And I was like, "Listen, darling, I love you, and there's a lot of things
Step away
that I will allow you to do. But this ain't one of them, honey. I can take care of this myself. I can do this. I'll take care of it." And she was 100% serious, but I got this, babe. Yeah, that was just one of the many things. But there's nothing normal about our household. Never has been. Like, normal in my house is just a dryer setting.
Because you got 6 kids, haven't you, Jeff?
We have 6 children now. We stopped foster parent. We were foster parents for 14 years. We adopted 4 children, all girls. Yes, girls by choice. And we have 2 biological sons. Yeah. So
at the time when you had your cancer in 2006, how many children did you have then?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Loads. Too many.
We had the boys, and I think we had my daughter Laura, who is now 21. Actually, funny story with her too is that we adopted her when she was 7 months old, and she doesn't remember a whole lot about it. But I think around that same time when I had that diaper rash thing, it was around my second or third treatment. That's when the hair started going, and I've had my beard like a long time, and I don't think she ever saw me without my beard.
Yeah.
So the one day I was driving, and I've only been blind for 3 years, so this is obviously way back when I could see. I was driving to go pick her up at daycare. I think she was around 4, and my beard started like coming out in chunks.
Oh, wow.
Like just literally just started coming out when I was driving. And I didn't want to scare her, with half a beard. So I went home real quick because the daycare was just down the street. So I went home and I just shaved it off real quick.
Yeah.
And I went to go down the street and pick her up. Well, she didn't even know who I was. So she literally freaked out. She absolutely did not know who I was. She would not come with me. And I had to call my wife because she didn't know who I was. She's never seen me without a beard.
You've taught a
And the people
stranger
at the daycare
danger
were like,
well.
yeah,
exactly.
so my wife had to go and meet me at the daycare. She figured it out after my wife got there when she saw her come to me, but that was kind of interesting. But one of those moments where you don't realize that, what's going through a 4-year-old's mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought I would scare her with half a beard, but I didn't realize, she's not going to know who I am.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
like your wife had to swoop in again to the rescue.
So Jeff, we met you through Vanessa Eccles. So I think you said that she had some sort of outreach program.
The pink shirt that I'm wearing is the shirt from her charity.
Oh, really?
Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what was it like? Because I think you said, were you the only man at the program?
I was.
But there was no one else that was a man that you could kind of relate to at all. What was that like?
It was interesting because we had an outreach program. She was the founder of the program. It was just amazing because what we did was we would actually, she collected money, we collected money, basically to help breast cancer patients that, just needed help. And it was just we would just go and talk to these people and just kind of help them. And 90% of the people that we met, they just didn't even know that men could get breast cancer. And that I heard that a lot. At the time that I was diagnosed in the US, the stats, I believe, were less than 2% of men diagnosed with breast cancer. And when I was first diagnosed, I was looking for a support group. Listen, family's great. They're great support, but they don't
get it.
Understand what it's like to go through cancer of any kind, whether it's breast cancer or any type of cancer. So I went online looking for a support group. And of course, I spent about 30 seconds looking for a male breast cancer support group. That didn't work. And I found a support group, of course, of women. And I immediately joined, didn't realize that it was a UK support group.
Okay, yeah.
And it was great, joined right away. They welcomed me with open arms. Of course, I was the only man in the group. And I still, that group does not exist anymore, but we kind of reconnected on Facebook.
I love that.
And I still talk to many of them today.
Really?
Still today, I talk to them. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome.
Do you find that with being the only male, I mean, you're saying that the UK, the group that you joined were really supportive, but how did that compare with, your own community?
Absolutely. Like joining with Vanessa's group and the women that I was a part of, the volunteer group, I'm still friends with them as well, even though the group no longer exists because Vanessa retired. She retired from her career as a broadcaster after 40 plus years. But the women in that group, I'm still friends with, and they were very supportive.
Fantastic.
So, and they were awesome supporters. But the most fun that I always have is like when I go to my appointments, like when I go for mammograms, sitting there, just some of the funny things in the past, just sitting there. I actually got turned away a couple of times when I was sitting there. I'm sorry, sir, you're in the wrong place, or I've gotten turned away saying that you're in the wrong location. Because I'm here for a mammogram.
Even you were getting that from staff.
Yeah, like
Right.
medical professionals. Like, no, I'm here for a mammogram. Not so much now, but back then, back in like 07, 08, 09. You'd go to the offices and you'd see the sign that says women's imaging. I'm like, well, that's kind of sexist.
Oh, is it?
Isn't it?
We've all got breasts.
And I would take pictures of that and put it on my Facebook, and I would literally put that on my Facebook, and I would get some of my my friends on Facebook daring me to get a marker and cross it out.
Did you ever get one and cross it out?
I did. I surely did.
Did you?
And don't call me Shirley.
Not bad.
So do
So
you think now, because it's been what, 17 years since you were first diagnosed? So do you
Yeah.
think now it's a bit more obvious that men have breast cancer and there's a bit more support?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I do believe so. I really tried to advocate that message, especially through Vanessa's charity. When we were doing it, she really tried to put that message out there. Anytime she asked me to speak, anytime she needed me to go somewhere or talk or whatever for the charity, I would always, there was never a nope, can't do it. I was never too busy for her. But I think that going through any type of cancer, and the caretakers they should get like gold stars, because
Yeah.
like my wife, she's an angel. I'm an ass. I can be the big, I'm the worst patient in the world.
Hmm.
And for her to stick with me for all these years, and not only through the breast cancer, but I had bladder cancer about 5 or 6 years ago. I had a stroke 3 years ago, which rendered me blind, and she stuck with me. And
put your diaper cream on. So she's a top woman.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, anybody who wants to stick her finger there, any wife would do that. That's a trooper right there.
So how important was humor to you?
Oh, it's a necessity. My father is actually no longer with us either. He's been gone for quite a while, but I blame him for my horrible humor, and my kids, even my adopted kids, have kind of adopted that humor.
Cool. Give us an example of your horrible humor.
Yeah, when my father was basically on his deathbed, we just had so much fun, and he was lucid up until like the last few days. He had little pet names for all of us, and they were not good pet names. Like I think I was asshole, and my sister was, it began with an F. Let me put it that way. And I mean, we were all in hysterics. My two sisters, who did not get breast cancer or have the gene. My mother did have the BRCA gene, 1 and 2, and she passed those genes on to me. So I always tease them that I took one for the team, and I tell them that all the time.
Yeah,
I did. I took one for the team.
Yeah.
Took one for you two bitches. That's what I tell them.
Yeah, you're still going around with your tits clacking in the wind.
Yeah.
That's right.
So is there any other
no.
funny stories you'd like to share?
Oh, okay. Now this is I got one more thing.
Go on.
Mammograms. Those are no fun for a man, especially a hairy man.
Explain.
Okay, so that's no fun. Okay, well, you know how a mammogram works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The squeezing.
Yeah. So imagine if you had a lot of hair on your chest and you had to get a mammogram.
Oof.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I shaved that area on the one boob that I have left, and there's not a lot of boob there. Just squeeze it in there, and it
Oof.
hurts like hell. Yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they
They've
always
got to get
say,
enough flesh, haven't they?
yeah, they always say the bigger the boob, the less it hurts on a mammogram.
And I don't have. I mean, I don't. There's nothing.
No, you've got
I'm
no
flat.
no boobs there, have you?
No.
We have a lot of women guests that come on that say when they've been through cancer, they all of a sudden develop this, well, their filter drops, where they don't give a shit about things, telling people what they think or what they want to do. Did that happen to you from a male perspective? Did that filter go where you're just like, oh, sod off?
Sometimes I would just do things for shits and giggles. I think it was not that long ago, and I went to the store. We have a chain of stores here called Publix.
Oh yeah, they're like Asda, Andrea. What
Oh,
were
are
they?
they?
So
Yeah.
I went to the store, and I only needed one item, and that was toilet paper. And I don't know what motivated me. I was waiting in line. I put the toilet paper on the conveyor. I said to the lady at the register, I said, "Could you hurry up? My wife is waiting." And she just looked at me like, "You're kidding, right?"
Yeah. Not only is she waiting, she's swinging her legs, waiting on you to bring that up. Yeah. Swinging her legs. She's got cramp.
So basically, I just make people uncomfortable, and it's just I tell a lot of blind jokes. You know, I tell people that my wife punishes me by rearranging the furniture.
Yeah,
Or
no.
I'll go into the store and I'll give somebody like a $10 bill when I buy something. I'll say, "That's here's your $50 bill," and they just give me like dead silence. And they're like, "Sir, that's only a 10." I'm like, "No, my wife told me it was a 50."
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, and they just don't get it. But I don't care.
No.
I like
Uh,
to amuse myself. That is the answer to the question that you asked me 15 minutes ago, which is how does humor play into my life?
I think supermarkets are always a great playground for humour.
I like to walk up to people and say, "Have you seen my wife?" And they'll go and they'll say, "What does she look like?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Me and my husband used to go to the till, and then I'd start talking about his rash, you know, at the till while he's touching everything on the conveyor belt. And I go, "Have you took your tablets for, you know, for your rash?"
Yeah. See, you and I would get along great because my wife is like she does not appreciate those jokes at all.
Oh
She gets
no.
embarrassed by
Uh,
it.
I also used to, you know, sometimes where you get the tannoy where the person's going, you know, somebody needed on aisle 3, you know, with a mop bucket because basically somebody had spilt
Oh yeah.
a Nuna schooner
Oh yeah.
beer, whatever it is you've got. I'd wait for my husband to go to the end of the aisle and say he had like a green top on, and I'd be roaring all over the show. Man in aisle 4 with baked beans in his pocket. Man in aisle 4. Man in aisle 4 with a green top, lifting bread, you know, stealing bread. Man in aisle 4, and
Oh
everybody would look at the number and then look at the man in the green top. Just used to just love persecuting him.
yeah. But I got my kids in on it too because I would go. My now 21-year-old, when she was little, we would go. You know, we would go to places, you know, parties or whatever. People who have never met my daughter, she would play along perfectly, and we would go and you know I'd introduce her. You know, she'd be like 10 or 12 years old. We'd be gathered around, and I'd say something. I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is Laura. She's adopted," and she would look at me and go, "I'm adopted." It would be so funny because the person that I did, and it would just be so funny because she was so good at it.
Yeah. I think you and Estelle should get together because honestly, you share the same sense of humour there.
Yeah, definitely. Just embarrassing everybody around us, quite frankly.
Oh yeah, that's my
Yeah,
and now that I'm retired, that's my first like my full-time job is just like embarrassing my wife and children. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
It is a
Yeah.
full-time job to
Yeah.
persecute people and to laugh about it.
Yeah.
But, you've been a wonderful guest. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, Jeff, it's
well,
been wonderful
I
to meet
appreciate
you.
doing that, and you too.
Yeah,
Love talking to you.
It's
but
been
thank you.
amazing.
Thank you
And
very much.
I'm sure we'll see you again.
Sure, I'll never see you, but I'll love talking to you though.
Oh, I'll never see you. Oh, see you later. Oh, I love that. I just love the way you take the piss out yourself. Well, sending lots of love all the way to Florida, and no doubt we will speak to you soon.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, ladies. You too. Have a wonderful
Take
evening.
care.
Thank
And
you.
you.
So that was Jeff Weinstein flying all the way back from Florida. So you can hear his plane going off in the distance. He was a fabulous guest. I'm so pleased we finally had a man on the
Yes,
show.
we've had a man.
Desperate for a man.
We are. And now we finally had one.
Yeah. So if there's any more men out there who want to come on.
Yeah. And as Jeff said, we are supermodels. So
Yeah. Jeff was blind, by the way, so we got away with it. So anybody
Yeah.
out there who blows us up and says we're not supermodels, don't bother listening to our show because you're no friend of ours.
Exactly.
No, good show, good show. Any more men out there who want to come on, who think you have stories just as entertaining as Jeff's, then all you need to do is write in. And where do they write to us, Andrea?
Stories at tittytowers.com.
Mm-hmm.
We're on Instagram, Facebook. Obviously, we have our website as well.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how outrageous you want to be, because you have an anonymity. You can be as absolutely outrageous as you want, because let's face it, you're not going to shock me and Estelle.
This is what this podcast is all about. You can say what the hell you like. The only thing we don't want are sad stories. That's about it, really, isn't it? That's our only criteria.
And we're not criticising podcasts that have stories where people share their experiences or talk about mental health or whatever. There's a place for that, absolutely fine. And, we encourage people to go to it. But this podcast is all about having a laugh, normalising the conversation about cancer, and getting a community together who want to have a really good laugh.
Yeah. And if you don't want to come on the show, you can just write us a letter. We'll read it out for you. If you want to come on the show and pretend you're somebody else, we are not going to snitch on you. You are very welcome to
We
come
haven't had anyone do that yet, have we?
No, everybody's quite, they're all like, no, I want to say who I am.
No, I want my moment of fame.
We've had a few letters where they've changed their name.
Well, the letters, but not actually someone who's come on the show and been anonymous.
When you come on the show, they've always been like really open about who they are. But yeah, the shady ones tend to want to write in. Oh, they're not shady, but people who are shy, I should say.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Exactly.
You can be a gobshite like Estelle, or a demure, shy individual like me.
And anyone who says that is a gobshite. So until next week. Stay healthy, everybody, and goodbye.
Goodbye.